Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Sunday morning. And actually I'm talking to you Saturday morning and it's just a little preamble before we get into the video. I wanted to just share a couple of things about the recipe. The first one is, it is absolutely delicious. I originally made this on Thursday night and it was so good that Bob said, we could have this again tomorrow, okay? And so we had it again Friday night. It just was so good. And I'm going to put my recipe, the one I followed, the one I created basically, in the description below. And you can change it out according to your tastes. Now, I used a can of Italian-style stewed tomatoes. But if you like things a little spicier, use a can of Rotel instead of the stewed tomatoes and add a can of green chilies to it. And it would make it a nice spicy unstuffed pepper casserole. But do give this one a try. Now this is an Instant Pot recipe, but for those of you who don't have an Instant Pot, it can be done just as well on the top of the stove. You would just have to simmer it until your rice was tender. So I just thought I'd jump in here and let you know how this actually came out and how we enjoyed it. Because sometimes, I always make more than we can use in one meal. And so we have leftovers, but we don't usually eat the leftovers the day after. I will have them a couple of days later or put them in the freezer and have them. And I actually do have enough to put in the freezer, so we'll put some away and have a nice dinner down the road some. So anyway, without any more talking, let's get into that video and make an unstuffed pepper casserole. Be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the second episode of Simple Suppers for Summer. Now, tonight we are going to cook. Last week we didn't cook at all. We made some salads, but we're going to make a one-pot meal, and I'm going to be using my Instant Pot because I have it and I can, but you don't have to have an Instant Pot to make this meal. It can be made just as nicely on the top of the stove. Tonight we're going to make unstuffed pepper casserole. Everything you love about stuffed peppers in a casserole. So everything goes in the Instant Pot and comes out with a cheesy top, and it sounds like it's going to be delicious. Now I'm going to partially follow a recipe, and I will print the recipe as it's written down below, but I'm going to put in some things a little different. I don't have a couple of the ingredients, and I have something I think I'd like to try in it instead. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. So I'm going to bring you down to the counter, and depending on how noisy this chopper is, I might mute this and just talk over the video while we're putting this together. So give me a second, I'll get you down to the counter. Back in a minute. Okay, I am down at the counter now, and I'm going to start with the chopping of 1/2 of a large onion and 4 peppers. The recipe called for a small onion, about a cup's worth, but I only have big ones, so I've used 1/2 of it. And we're going to be doing 4 different peppers, and you can see here that I have an orange one, a yellow one, a red one, and a green one. The 3 colorful ones came in a package that I purchased, and the green ones actually come from our garden. So that was kind of fun to use that. Pepper plants take so long to get going, but once they do, they get pretty prolific. So yes, there's 4 peppers in here. This is a pepper casserole after all. But the different colors, I think, add a good flavor. Some are sweeter than others. Now, this is also the time where you could add a can of green chilies if that's the kind of spiciness that you want in your dish. I did not do that this time because I wasn't quite sure how it would go over, but I might try it at another time. So we're going to continue chopping. I'm just about done here, and then we'll get busy putting all of this in the Instant Pot, and we'll see what happens next. Be right back. Hang in there. Okay, I've just put my pot on saute. I have all the peppers and onions. Call for one small onion. I've got half a big one. Okay, I'm going to have to wait till my pot heats up. I forgot to preheat it, so let me just get this out of the way. And I'll share the rest of my ingredients. I have 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I have, I'm going to add some Italian stewed tomatoes, Worcestershire sauce, garlic, my ground beef, a little better than bouillon to make a little bouillon, and of course the rice. And I'm using a plain long grain rice. So that's what's going to be in here. And when you go to cook it, we'll saute it for a little bit. It only goes under pressure for 5 minutes. So it's an easy recipe once you've got everything in the Instant Pot. And I'm going to turn you around and show you the Instant Pot. So hold on. All right, it's registering hot. Now I put just the tiniest bit of olive oil in the bottom because this meat is, I think it's an 80-20. So I got a little bit of it in the middle. It's not quite defrosted, but I think it will defrost just fine as it's being sauteed here. Sorry, I had it on the medium setting. It needed to go up on the high. That's why it was not doing its thing. But it will now. So we're going to let this saute for a little bit. Then I'm going to add the garlic, saute that around. Then I'm going to add the onions and peppers, and we'll cook those for a few minutes and add the rest of the ingredients. I'll be back as soon as my hamburger gets a little bit done. All right, it says 2 cloves of garlic. So we'll add a little in here. I tend to go light on the garlic. My husband's not a big lover of garlic. Get all the good stuff. Pretty and colorful with the 3 different color peppers, isn't it? Actually, 4 different color peppers. And we're going to let that saute for a few minutes. Okay, I'll be back in a minute when it gets closer to time for the next ingredients. You probably see the smoke coming. I'm going to try to back this up a little bit so it doesn't go up to the camera lens. I think you can still see. We'll start adding some other stuff. This is some crushed tomatoes, and I'm going to start with a good half of the can. Oh, I think I might put the whole can in. And the stewed tomatoes with the juice. And one little does not want to play in the pool. It calls for a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, it also calls for Italian seasoning. I'm not going to add that because the stewed tomatoes are Italian. Now it calls for 2/3 of a cup of beef broth, and I'm going to use up the rest of my better than bouillon. Let me get my towel. So that's the, and we'll put about 2/3 a cup of water. And now we're going to add some salt. Pepper. And the rice. And it calls for 2/3 of a cup of rice. And that's all she wrote. Cancel. Now I'm going to do pressure cook on high 5 minutes. And that's it, and we'll be back after it finishes its thing. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, wow. Wow. Look at this. Now, what we're going to do, first I'm going to take a little bit and put it in a dish so I'll be able to give you a taste test, because I couldn't taste it now. I'm going to add some cheese. Of course, everything's better with cheese. And I'm just using some, I think I have cheddar and I have Mexican blend. I'm using whatever cheese I have left in the refrigerator. Whatever's your favorite, go for it. And I'm going to put this top back on. And let it stay hot and warm and melt that cheese. Okay, here I am. I'm going to try this. I got some rice, tomato, beef. I have a nice piece of stewed tomato in there. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Mmm. Mmm. This is delightful. Mmm. Wow. Now I'm serving this tonight with some green beans that were actually in the other pressure cooker over there. Over there. Did them Southern style. A little bit of bacon grease and some frozen green beans for 20 minutes. It took me longer to cook the green beans than it did to cook the stuffed pepper. Oh my goodness, that's so good. Mmm. You got to give this a try. I mean, now this is more than we can eat, obviously, but I will put that in containers and put it in the freezer, and we'll have great stuffed pepper meals. Probably get 2 or 3 of them out of there. Love it. So anyway, that's it for today. I cooked, but 1 pot. And I'll see you again on Tuesday, and we'll have another craft going after, because we had our haul Friday. So we'll do something with the haul. Right now, of course, everything is still piled in front of the door that goes into the room I work in, because we took all of that furniture in for Elsa. So until then, everybody stay safe. Wear your mask if appropriate. Get your vaccine. And play nice now. I'll see you Tuesday. Love you. Bye-bye.